The time 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Tilani Perez. The headlines. The Public Security Minister stresses that he is determined to forge ahead with the operations against criminal gangs. The CID records a statement from former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala. An 11-month-old infant boy and a university student of Jaffna have died of dengue fever. The Polonnaruwa Somawathiya Road, which was temporarily closed due to the floods, has been reopened. And on international news, Russia confirms damage to warship in Black Sea. And on sports news, Afghanistan Cricket Board sanctions delays central contracts of Mujib Naveen and Faruqi. The Public Security Minister Tiran Alas said even some religious leaders who maintain links with organized criminal gangs act with hypocrisy, making critical remarks of the police crackdown on criminals. Addressing a function in Kirindewala, he said politicians also indulge in such acts to demoralize the police. These elements have undertaken a contract. Police encounter various challenges in the process, including threats on personal safety. The minister further said that there are about 30 underworld gang leaders who carry out crimes hiding in foreign countries. Plans are now underway to bring them back to the country. The underworld activities will be totally eradicated in another 6 months. The minister stressed that he is determined to forge ahead with these operations against all odds. The Criminal Investigations Department is currently recording a statement from the former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala. Police spokesman SSP Nihalta Duwa said that a group of CID officers visited the minister's residence in Colombo this morning to record a statement in connection with the import of substandard human immunoglobulin to the country. So far, several high-profile arrests have been made in connection with the case, including the former Secretary of the Ministry of Health, the Director of the Health Ministry's Medical Supplies Division, and 3 other officials of the same division, as well as the owner of the relevant company, which is said to have imported the batch of substandard immunoglobulin vials by forging documents. An 11-month-old infant boy and a student of the Jaffna University died of dengue fever while undergoing treatment at the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. The infant from Tanwadi in Jaffna died yesterday, and the student of the Jaffna University had died 2 days ago. Dengue fever is spreading fast in the Jaffna district, revealed health authorities. During a meeting of the health authorities in the district with the Northern Province Governor PSM Charles in the Secretariat, they revealed that more than 2,200 dengue-positive patients have been reported from the Northern Province, while 5 of them had died. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sri Pada pilgrim season started today after traditional rituals performed at the Sri Pada Malua this afternoon on Uduap full moon Poya day. The Sri Pada Sthanadipati, Venerable Dhammadinna Thera, requested the pilgrims to refrain from any act violating the sanctity of the Sri Pada Sthana and causing damage to the highly sensitive environmental zone. Our correspondent says that the Polonnaruwa Somawathiya Road, which was temporarily closed due to the flood conditions, have been reopened at present. Devotees and visitors are now coming back to the sacred area after opening of the road. The situation at the Mathura prison, in which several inmates were hospitalized after falling ill, has now returned to normal, said Commissioner of Prisons and media spokesman Gamini B. Dissanayake. The officials of the prisons department took steps to implement strict health measures in Mathura prison following 17 inmates falling ill, while one of them was reported dead due to suspected brain fever. However, no more inmates were identified with similar symptoms at the prison during the last 48-hour period, according to the prison's media spokesman. Meanwhile, Mr. Dissanayake said 2 of the 16 inmates who were hospitalized are still receiving treatment in the intensive care unit, while others are undergoing treatment in a normal ward of the hospital. A fire has been reportedly broken out in a store selling hardware and home decor items at Green Lane in Armour Street, Colombo. All the items which were stored within the building have reportedly been destroyed by the fire. The Colombo Fire Brigade has taken steps to extinguish the flames with the help of 4 fire engines. That ends the local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
The Health Ministry says that the risk of epidemic in Sri Lanka due to the new COVID-19 variant JN.1 is minimal. Issuing a statement, the Ministry stated that the Medical Research Institute has been instructed to carry out genetic tests to assess the risk of the JN.1 variant spreading, and accordingly the necessary research is being carried out. While current evidence suggests the additional public health risk posed by JN.1 is low, we must continue to track the evolution of these viruses to tailor our response, the ministry said. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight. The Disaster Management Center, 57 of the 77 tsunami warning towers built in the coastal areas are currently inoperative and are unable to give an early signal to the people of an impending tsunami. After the 2004 tsunami, these towers were built in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Gaul, Matra, Hambantota, Puttalam, Ampara, Batticaloa, Trincomalee, Mannar, Mullaitivu and Jaffna districts. 11 towers can be operated from the Disaster Management Center and another 9 towers are at the level where they can be operated manually after going to the relevant location. However, the number of towers that cannot be operated is close to 57. The technology for this has been provided by the American Signal Corporation. This is for the attention of the relevant authorities. That came to you in Watchlight. Coming up, World News. World News headlines: Russia confirms damage to warship in Black Sea. Afghan couples marry in a mass ceremony in bid to cut costs. Plane held over trafficking fears lands in India. Russia has confirmed one of its warships has been damaged in a Ukrainian attack on a Black Sea port. The airstrike took place at Fedosia in Russian-occupied Crimea early on Tuesday morning. Russia's Ministry of Defense said the large landing ship Novoscherkassk was struck by Ukrainian aircraft carrying guided missiles. The head of the Ukrainian Air Force said earlier its warplanes had destroyed the ship. A mass wedding ceremony involving 50 couples has been held in Afghanistan. Such ceremonies have become more common as low-income couples seek to avoid the high costs of a traditional wedding. The brides-to-be were kept out of sight in a separate wing. It was only after lunch they appeared, local media said. The event in Kabul was organized by a charity which also provided the newlyweds with items including a carpet and household appliances to start their married life. A plane carrying hundreds of Indian nationals who were held for days at an airport in France over human trafficking fears have arrived in India. The chartered Airbus A340, which had been flying from the United Arab Emirates to Nicaragua, aroused suspicion during a refueling stop. It left with 276 passengers, but 25 people, including 2 minors, remained in France after applying for asylum. 2 suspected traffickers also remain in France for further investigation. Back to the world news headlines. Russia confirms damage to warship in Black Sea. Afghan couples marry in mass ceremony in bid to cut costs. Plane held over trafficking fears lands in India. That ends world news.
Development news.
Sri Lanka is ranked ahead of Australia, Singapore and Japan on the list of the most Instagrammable places in the world for 2023 by United States-based travel website enjoytravel.com. Among a list of 50 places, Enjoy Travel selected Sri Lanka as the 9th most Instagrammable place on earth based on social media popularity. Sri Lanka had over 13 million Instagram hashtags and 16.4 billion TikTok views. That ends development news. Moving on with sports news. The Afghanistan Cricket Board has decided to sanction Mujib-ur-Rahman, Naveen-ul-Haq and Fazlak Farooqi for prioritizing personal interests over playing for Afghanistan. The Afghanistan Cricket Board released a statement saying the 3 of their premier national players will have their central contracts delayed and won't be provided no objection certificates for the next 2 years. This development comes after the three players had requested the board to be released from central contracts. All three players are active in various franchise T20 leagues around the world, including the IPL. The board statement mentioned that disciplinary action has been taken against them since they have prioritized personal interests over representing Afghanistan. That came to you in sports news.
May this Christmas bring happiness, love, peace and success to you and your family. Merry Christmas. National Savings Bank.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka will allow the import of spices to produce value-added products for export following requests from Board of Investment approved companies, a government statement said. The Cabinet of Ministers had approved the plan to import selected spices which will be used to extract oil and oil seasonings. The products made with extracts allow high revenue to be earned than exports in raw form, the statement said. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
May this Christmas bring happiness, love, peace and success to you and your family. Merry Christmas. National Savings Bank.
And now in economic news.
11,250 million rupees will be distributed to all district secretaries next month as the decentralized budget. The President has directed the committee chairpersons to prioritize development activities aimed at uplifting the rural economy. At the regional and divisional level, it is imperative to engage with representatives and solicit proposals for development activities. In addition to the funds allotted to each district, extra financial support will be directed towards the upcountry areas, the President said. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology says a showery weather condition is expected to enhance over the northern, north central and eastern provinces from today. Showers will occur at times in the eastern province. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern, north central and Nuva provinces. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragamu province and in Gaul and Matra districts after 2 p.m. Fairly strong winds about 30 to 40 kilometers can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the central hills and in the northern, north central, eastern and Nuva provinces and in the Hambantota district. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamu, central and western provinces and in the Gaul and Matra districts during the morning. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The Public Security Minister stresses that he is determined to forge ahead with operations against criminal gangs. The CID records a statement from former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala. An 11-month-old infant boy and a university student of Jaffna have died of dengue fever. The Polo Narua Somavatia Road, which was temporarily closed due to the floods, has been reopened. And on international news, Russia confirms damage to warship in Black Sea. And on sports news, Afghanistan Cricket Board sanctions delays central contracts on Mujib Naveen and Faruqi. That ends this news broadcast.